So negative exponents are when we have something like a to the negative nth power. So our exponent is negative. So I'm going to give a definition for this in a minute, but let's do an example first. So let's say I have 2 to the negative third power. So if let's say you punch this in your calculator right away, 2 to the negative third power, it's going to say 0.125. So notice it's not a negative value. It's what it really typically means is that if I have a negative exponent, I'm going to have a pretty small value. So what it is actually the reciprocal. So this is going to be equal to 1 over 2 to the positive third. So by moving this into the denominator, the exponent changes from negative 3 to positive 3, which now I can do 2 to the third power, which is 8. 1/8 is 0.125 in decimal form. Or how about 10 to the negative second power? So again, so if I write 1 over, bring that base of 10, that doesn't change. The exponent, though, changes from negative 2 to a positive 2. So now I do 10 squared is 100, so my answer is 1/100th. And again, if you punch this in your calculator, 10 to the negative 2 power, you are going to get 0.01. So the bigger the base and the bigger the digit on the exponent, that means it's going to be a number closer and closer to 0, a smaller number. Like this one, it was 1 over 100, so this becomes a pretty small decimal. So let's put in that definition now. So a to the negative nth power is equal to 1 over a to the positive nth. Now the other rule that goes with this, if I have 1 over a to the negative nth power, this is going to be equal to a to the positive nth. So kind of looking at both of those rules, let's kind of summarize what this is saying. Moving the base and exponent between the numerator and denominator, changes the sign of the exponent. Notice, nothing else changes. The base does not change, just the sign of the exponent. Okay, so let's do one with that negative base. We can keep that. Let's keep that up. So let's do 1 over 2 to the negative 4th power. So 1 over 2 to the negative 4th power. So using the rule, looking at the rule, 1 over 8 to the negative nth power, I could rewrite this as 2 to the positive 4th. So by bringing it up, it changes the exponent from negative 4 to positive 4. So this should be 16. Again, if you put this in your calculator directly like that, 1 divided by 2 to the negative 4th, it's going to output 16. Now let's look a little more in depth why. So if I rewrote the top as 1, now I'm going to rewrite 2 to the negative 4th as 1 over 2 to the 4th, using the first rule we talked about. This is the same as 1 divided by 1 over 2 to the 4th. And remember, with dividing fractions, we change it to multiply and flip it. So now I'm just left with 2 to the 4th on top, which is 16. Okay, how about, let's do one with a negative base. Negative 2 to the negative 3rd power. So pretty similar to the first example we did, but now we have a base of negative 2. So first step, whenever I see that negative exponent, rewrite it, changing between numerator and denominator. So now I've got negative 2 to the positive 3rd power on the bottom. And now I can do negative 2 to the 3rd power, negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, which is negative 8. So I've got 1 over negative 8, or just negative 1/8. The whole thing is negative. Okay, so notice though when I moved the negative 2 to the negative third power, when I brought it down to the denominator, the base did not change. Only the sign of the exponent changed. The only thing that changes is the sign of the exponent. Sign of the exponent. I'll underline that again. Okay, just another 2 more. So here I had all the bases were numbers. Now it works the same way if I had a variable. So let's say I have x to the negative fifth. So when I work with exponents with negative exponents with variables, I never want to leave any of my final answers with negative exponents. So I would want to rewrite this as 1 over x to the fifth. How about this one? X cubed y to the negative sixth z squared. Okay, so now I've got a few things going on. So x cubed is good, but I need to rewrite y to the negative sixth. So I'm going to rewrite this as 1 over y to the sixth. And then z squared is good. So just like multiplying fractions, if I want to make these, the x and the y part, look like a fraction, I could put them over 1. So when I combine these, everything on top, I'll have x cubed, z squared on top, and then y to the sixth on the bottom. So notice, only the part that has a negative exponent needs to get moved. Everything else stays where it is. So like the x and z here being positive, they stay on top.